Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back. Once again, BoshNRoll video. I'm playing Legacy. This is a donation list from subscriber Dravox, and Dravox has given me the rack, aka Pox, aka I don't know what else it's called. But basically, what this deck does is it removes your opponent's hand with discard spells, Hymn to Turok, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Smallpox, Liliana the Veil, and Smallpox and Innocent Blood handle any creatures. Then you kill them with the Rack, Curse Scroll, or Shrieking Affliction. So I released Loampox on the channel about a week ago, week and a half maybe, before this video, and that was a green-black deck that used Life from the Loam to recoup some of the mutual card discard sort of stuff. This one does not. This one just goes straight for the face with burn damage with the Curse Scroll, the Rack, and Shrieking Affliction. It wants to empty both players' hands and doesn't really need resources of its own if your opponent's getting chewed up by the Rack. So that's the plan. There's not a whole lot to be said about this. Just discard spells, stay alive, and they'll die eventually. And that's the deck. What I found out last time with Loampox is that Veil of Summer is a pretty big beating on decks like this, which shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, the deck is based on targeting your opponent with black spells, and there's a 1 mana cantrip that counters black spells that target you in the format. So that's pretty bad. We also learned that Oko is a big problem. Uro's a little annoying, but it's not as bad as Oko. Like, you can discard your opponent's entire hand, and if they top deck Oko and then they make some elks, elk your bridge, and kill you, then that is. So Oko is a problem. There do not seem to be any answers to Oko in this deck, which I'm not a big fan of. I feel like Eliminate is a card that should probably be in this 75. Underworld Dreams is funny. I'm excited to have that in my sideboard. Engineer Plague, Sinkhole, Chains, Bitter Blossom against Merit Lage. Like this is pretty well designed, except it doesn't really pressure an Oko in any meaningful way. Though I guess we can try to count on the Rack and Shrieking Affliction, but Oko can just elk the Rack. So also just eating a food every turn neutralizes the Rack. So I feel like we should have an answer to Oko somewhere. Probably Underworld Dreams. And let's see, there's 2 Collective Brutalities main. I don't think we need another one in the sideboard. There's a lot of discard already. And then the Inquisitions, the Thoughtseize. I think I want a main deck Eliminate. Maybe over one of these Innocent Bloods. So put one in the main deck over an Innocent Blood. One in the sideboard over Underworld Dreams. Fatal Push might be better as Eliminate also. I mean, 1 mana versus 2 is a big deal, but killing Oko versus not is a bigger deal. Okay, so I'm going to make that change right now just because I've so recently lived a life where I was just stone dead to Oko. So we got a couple eliminates now. That's the only change I'm going to make. And now let's go put a pox on people's face and stretch them over the rack. What a sad way to go. You both have pox and you're getting stretched by the rack. And you're shrieking because you're so afflicted. I don't want to go out that way, so let's make sure the opponents go out instead. Alright, I'm on the play here in round 1 with a string of discard spells. Inquisition into some brutalities. Have a Shrieking Affliction. I'm going to keep this. My opponent is currently watching one of my videos, and I've informed them that they're in one now too. Let's see if they're still having fun after they see what I'm up to. Wah, 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 discard spells. Oh, they mulled to 6. I've already resolved one discard spell. I wonder if I should be taking the draw. I know that's a thing that rack decks do in Modern, because by taking the draw, let me acknowledge this nice person in the chat. So by taking the draw, you effectively discard another card from their hand because they don't get to draw a card. By giving them the play, they get an extra card. But in Legacy, where you could just die on turn 1, I don't know if that's the solution. Okay, so Ponder, Brainstorm, Astrolabe. Astrolabe enables this Emery. I could just take the Emery and leave them with a bunch of shit in here. But Emery dies to Smallpox, so I don't need to do that. I'm going to take the Astrolabe. It's Astrolabe or it's Brainstorm. No, I'm going to take Brainstorm because I'm lining it up with my removals, my discard spells coming forward. Brainstorm can protect future. Like if I collected Brutality next turn, like I think if I took Emery, they would just play Astrolabe. But if I collected Brutality, if they leave up Brainstorm somehow and I collected Brutality, they can Brainstorm to get rid of or hide their instants and sorceries, which I don't really want to happen. This Ethereal Forager is pretty dangerous. Like I'm fueling their graveyard. I would like to find a second black source sooner than later, so I can get this Smallpox online. Hopefully I just draw a Swamp or an Urborg, and that'll do. Uh-oh, Mox Opal. Okay, that's still not a turn 1 Emery. So I have this draw step plus 1, the next one. Oh, Collective Brutality also -2's the Emery, so I'm actually covered even if I don't draw the black land for Smallpox. But I am not covered if they play this Whale. Like, I do need to Smallpox the Whale. So they can Emery this turn. If they draw fetch land, they can Whale this turn. Or a Bauble. They can also Bauble. They can Emery and Whale this turn. That's actually super fucked. Oh no. That Bauble was such a perfect draw. Alright, this is bad news. I can still Brutality the Whale, or the Emery, and then Pox the Whale next turn. It's going to get to draw a card before that matters. But let's see. Blackland? Wasteland. Not what I wanted. So I think I'm going to discard Hymn to Turok to escalate. So I want to cast with 2 modes. I want them to reveal their hand and discard an instant or sorcery, and I want to kill this Emery. You discard, you get -2. And I want to discard the Hymn to Turok. Alright, we actually spiked a spell. Now it's time to race this Ethereal Forager. So I can cast Shrieking Affliction even if I don't find the Smallpox, and that will at least get something set up. I suspect they're going to want... Alright, they took the Brainstorm. I probably would have started with Ponder coming from Hellbent. Because now, like, you need to draw bad cards and a fetch land off of this Brainstorm when Ponder gives you more selection moving forward. Unless they, like, the exact card they want was the card they drew for turn and they want to hide it from my discard, then that would have been a good reason to get Brainstorm. Alright, they did have the fetch, and they are helmet. Black Source. Killing me. Alright, time for Shrieking Affliction. Alright, let's shriek a little bit. I think I want to save this surgical. Like, I'm not sure what I'm pointing it at right now. Like, I could just point it at Brainstorm, I guess. Could point it at Emery. Alright, they lose 3 life for that. I want to stop in their draw step. So I'll give them a... So they draw for Bobble, they draw for turn. I actually want to extract these Mentors. I think that's my best mileage here. Like, that's the card that can completely bury me, despite my smallpox. Alright, Brainstorm and Force of Negation. Well, that's bad. Alright, let's get a look at this deck. Emery, Ethereal Forger, Force of Will, and some artifacts and stuff. Alright, so Ethereal Forger is really the only win condition left, which doesn't really make me feel better considering it's currently in play. Alright, so this smallpox is probably not going to resolve. So I need to string together multiple removal spells now. But if I put the smallpox on the stack, at least that does get a card out of their hand. But this is Shrieking Affliction, not the rack, so that might not matter. Alright, let's see if I can get a counterspell out of this Waste Knot. That's a pretty cool card. It's no smallpox. I actually didn't look at the game log. I don't know if they know I'm holding smallpox or if they saw the surgical on their Rose's Bauble. Okay, they saw the surgical. They don't know about smallpox. That's good. Yeah, this deck that is good at drawing cards, extra cards on their own turn, has been a bad lineup. Honestly, though, if we just had double black at any point earlier than this, it would have been fine. Well, here comes the Force of Negation. But I have to work through it eventually, so why not now? Yeah, and I can hard cast it, so it's not even a 2-for-1. Alright, Force of Negation is out of the way. Now I gotta answer this whale. I have Innocent Bloods, Lilianas, more Smallpox. They all do the trick. But I have 2 turns to find it. And they've done a lot of drawing. I know they have Ponder and Brainstorm in hand, so it's going to be a big ask to get any of these things to resolve. Ensnaring Bridge also is a thing they have to counter. There's the Brainstorm finally. 7 cards in hand, no big deal. So I'm definitely going to bring in... I guess I have to see what I'm going to bring out before I start talking about what I'm bringing in. I could have wasted in response to Brainstorm. Probably should have. They at least lose their fetch that way. If they have a second whale here, I am destroyed. though. I've definitely already lost this game. Maybe if they shuffle the Ponder, that'll be the glimpse of hope that I need. They did not shuffle the Ponder. All right, they have a second Ponder. Okay. Caracas. Oh no, is this Emery? Okay, not Emery. Good. My edicts are still alive. Come on, edict. That's an edict. Please resolve, please resolve, please resolve, please resolve, please resolve. Damn it. Alright. Guess I can at least waste that, take them off some options. I can take one more hit from this whale before I lose. A lot of live draws. Where are we going now? I am dead to Galvanic Blast. I didn't check how many of those they have. They're deciding which way to kill me. Oh no, another Forager. So now I need Ensnaring Bridge. The other things don't even work. It's Ensnaring Bridge or bust. But Ensnaring Bridge is actually pretty good here. They're at 1 card in hand. Right on time. Alright, I'm dead. Alright, so that sneaky little whale, drawing that artifact to turn on Mox Opal so they could play Emery plus whale in the same turn was all insane. So what do I want to do here? I don't care about surgical extractions. Those can go out. Alright, things that I would like to bring in include Leyline of the Void, Toxic Deluge, Engineered Plague for Monk. That's like the second tier of interest. Alright, so Surgical Extraction, easy to come out. Liliana the Last Hope. Are you any good? You can pick off monks. You can slow down whales. You're a maybe. Innocent Blood's good. Collective Brutality is pretty good. That deals with the Emery and potentially a Mentor, but probably not. Waste Not is kind of a clunker. It just didn't do anything. Leyline is kind of medium, but if it makes it so the whales never come off, like they basically only have Mentor and Whale to win the game with. So I'm trying to check the boxes of things that can kill me. Collective Brutality, Hymn to Turok, Smallpox, Thoughtseize. Yeah, I like the rest of these cards. Alright, we're going in like this. I could bring in Pithing Needle for Emery, but I have several other ways to deal with Emery. I've chosen to fight on that axis instead. Okay. Thoughtseize and the Rack. Got an Eliminate to answer something. Double Liliana. Just need another land. But I don't think you can mulligan hands like this with the Rack. I could also lead on the Rack. Like if I play the Rack first, then I can Thoughtseize with more information on turn 2. But if they have a turn 1 Emery, then it's too late. Okay, yeah, I want to Thoughtseize so I have the information so I know how to sequence the rest of this game. Alright, so they can't turn 1 Emery. This Mentor is pretty far away. I'm going to take the Ponder. And hope that Liliana can control this game before Mentor gets online. So is this the Lantern? All right, yeah, there's Lantern, there's Bauble. Ready to deal with Emery. Oh, there's that right on time. At least it's an easy discard to Liliana. So the rack. They did not pop their Bauble because they want Emery. I can deal with Emery, especially if I draw land. Shit, alright. I hope they don't have Force. Okay, good. Alright, Inquisition is play. Like, I didn't see any soul lands, so even if they missed their land drop last turn, that gives me a turn to play around this this Mentor with Inquisition. I can Inquisit them, and then hopefully that bridges the gap up into Liliana. Oh, the Desperate card draw off of Soul Guide Lantern. Love it. Spell Pierce. No thank you on that. Oh god, Hide and Seek? What? Artifact or enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay. On its library for a card and exile it? Alright, interesting. Alright, I'm taking Spell Pierce. So Hide and Seek is 1 card, not 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so yeah, I have the first Mentor answered. They're still missing land drops. I just really gotta find the land before it's too late. Okay. And I know this is gonna resolve. I can discard my Leyland of the Void. Easy squeezy. Alright, yeah, Liliana is the real like engine of this deck that keeps things interesting. Like, I'm ready to answer the Mentor. They didn't even play the Mentor. Yeah, they're probably going to wait until they can Mentor plus play a spell right away so they don't lose it. I'm going to discard my redundant Liliana. And I'm going to play out the Curse Scroll. So presumably they can hide now. They can get rid of my rack if they want to. Or they could get rid of my Curse Scroll. Oh, they discarded Hide and Seek anyway. All right, perfect. Curse Scroll, get in. Yeah, so they're kind of moving in on the plan of drawing a land so they can Mentor plus Galv Blast, immediately get a trigger. But I've slow rolled this Innocent Blood, so that's not even going to work. All right, yeah, and they just packed it up. Can't get through it. The rack is too strong, stretched really hard. I don't think anything changes. And Chains of Mephistopheles messes up their baubles pretty well. I guess they are also a Ponder and Brainstorm deck. Maybe I want to work Chains in here somehow. But Chains only helps like once I'm already ahead. It doesn't help me get ahead. Maybe I don't want Leyland of the Void and Chains is just better. Because it's a 2 of. Like, it's not going to be in a whole lot of opening hands, and I'm definitely not going to mulligan looking for it. Okay, yeah, they've shown me the Baubles, Astrolabe, Ponder, Brainstorm. I'll put Chains in the deck. Again, don't have double black right away, but I guess I don't need it right away. I'll keep this hand. Plains. All right, Astrolabe. Oh no, do you have Emery also? This sucks. Okay. That's pretty cool. I'm glad it wasn't Emery though. I love Astrolabe decks so much. Like Astrolabe combo decks, I should be more specific. Like Mox Opal decks are my shit. Pretty jealous of their deck. Mine's pretty cool too, but I'm gonna chains them. And I have 2 chains. LOL. Wrap reference. So if they force one of them, I can still resolve the other, and I could even just end up with 2 in play, which is a thing I've never done before. It's not legendary, it's not an enchant world, it's just an enchantment. Oh, it's crazy. So Chains does a pretty good job mitigating Emery, even if they have Emery right now. What I'm not prepared to deal with is Monastery Mentor. Thoughtseize. The question is, do I think they have Mentor in their hand? And do I think they can chain a bunch of spells after it? I think Thoughtseize is the correct play, but I'm going to cast Chains anyway. Like, I have Eliminate for a Mentor, so it's not like I'm just dead to it. Depends on how many monks they can make. And if they want to force Chains of Mephistopheles, that's a Force of Will out of their hand. How many lands does this deck play? I feel like I've had mana problems every game so far. Alright, they're brainstorming in response. That is the correct time to do that. There are 19 lands in this deck. Yeah, you do not want to brainstorm with Chains of Mephistopheles on the battlefield, because then you draw and discard 3 times and then put 2 cards back. You end up with 2 less cards in your hand than you started, and you discard a bunch of shit. Chains could supercharge Emery or Ethereal Forger. Like, it could get them up to Delve pretty quickly, but I think it's going to hurt more than it helps. That's like some fringe situation stuff. Okay, they're fetching. Is it Mentor? Uh-oh. Oh my god. Patrician Scorn. I've been Patrician Scorned. Oh my god. Wasn't ready for that. So they are turboing this Mentor pretty hard. 2 monks in play. If their last cards, I should eliminate before they draw for Bauble to minimize the Forest Blue card possibility. Though this also... Shit. Alright, yeah. So if I draw a Swamp, that was a bad play. If I don't draw a Swamp, it was a good play. But either way, I'm in a shitload of trouble here. Uh-oh, it was a bad play. Bummer. Guess all Thoughtseize you now, at least. Force of Will and Hide and Seek. Force of Will is reactive. Hide and Seek, kind of proactive. Force of Will, they're 1 land away from hard. I guess I have to take the Force. Alright. Fine. I'm already dead to these Mentors. It doesn't matter. I have to draw Engineered Plague right now. Like, off the top right now. And they have the Hide and Seek still in hand that can answer the Plague. It'll just deal with the imminent monk threat. They could even Seek now to push a bunch of damage and search my deck and exile the one of the 2 Engineered Plagues. So I'm drawing to a 1-outer instead of a 2-outer. even though I'm already in trouble. Okay, they are getting rid of my rack. All right, drawing a 2-outer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite dead on board. Engineer play. Shit. All right, by playing a spell, I give them the possibility that the counterspell in their hand can put lethal on board. I'm going to try to control these monks as well as I can, and if they string some spells together, I'm just going to lose. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they just need to cast one spell and I die. All right. Now, let me... yeah, they didn't even need that. Okay. GG's. Can't be too sad losing to a sweet Monastery Mentor brew. On to the next round. All right, I'm on the play in round 2. I have this Parade of Hymn to Tarox, 4 of a kind. That's pretty great. So let's hope that this is a matchup where Hymn to Tarox is good. Moment of Truth. Basic Plains Aether Vial. Alright, so Hymn to Tarox isn't bad. We can get them Hellbent pretty quick. Alright, Surgical was not a bad draw. Like if they discard something important. Discard Rishadan Port. Alright, so I'm gonna exile Rishadan Ports in their draw step. Or maybe I should wait for them to cast a creature and exile that. Yeah, forget about Rishadan Port. Right, they have 3 cards left in their hand. Let's take it down to 1. Vialing in probably Mother of Runes. Alright, so they are now Hellbent. Ooh, Skyclave Apparition is a card that I would like to get rid of. I guess they would need to draw a land. So if I'm going to exile Skyclave Apparition, I can do that next turn because they would need land and Apparition. Alright, this is probably Thalia. Yep. Alright, it's time to draw a land. Oh, Beatdown. No fear. Okay, I did draw a land. I think Innocent Blood, getting that set up. Because I'm a long way away from this Curse Scroll doing anything anyway. And Mother of Runes doesn't matter. I guess I probably should exile Rishadan Port. Because I don't want to get ported under this Thalia. And exiling their creatures doesn't really matter. Alright, Stoneforge Mystic is a solid creature. Let's check this out. 4 Flicker Wisp, pretty standard. 1 Sanctum Prelate, 2 more Apparitions. Spirit of the Lab. Jitte, Sword, and Batterskull, yeah, all the normal stuff. Okay, so they have Stoneforge Mystic, but I'm going to get to discard the weapon they get with it. If they even get a weapon, they might just fail to find, though. I think that is kind of an aggressively bad play. Just hitting land drops is all I want to do here. Though Eliminate's very good. If I can eliminate this Thalia and then get Curse Scroll online. Oh, they have Caracas up, so eliminating Thalia is going to be a tough, big ask. Raven's Crime. So I could crime them, or I could just get Curse Scroll into play. The only cards that would still be in their hand are... If they drew an equipment, they wouldn't have attacked with Stoneforge Mystic. If they drew a land, they would have played it. A 3-drop, they can just Vial in. So I think I'm just going to pass the turn, leaving up Eliminate. Yeah. Like, there's basically no card that would still be in their hand. They're going to try to blink Stoneforge Mystic, so I should eliminate that. Unfortunately, I really wanted to go after Thalia, but I can't let them have more weapons. I guess because they did this in the end step, Stoneforge Mystic would come back in their end step, and then I would have a chance to discard the card. So I actually fucked that up. I should have let them just do that and gone after the Thalia or the Wisp. Alright, no cards in hand. Curse Scroll in play. 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, I am dead on board anyway. I have to get myself Hellbent to maximize Curse Scroll, but this is happening one turn too late. Like, I take 5, I go to 2, I kill Flicker Wisp, I die to Thalia. So I need to... And because they have Thalia, I guess if I draw a... Alright, now the third creature, it just doesn't even matter. Okay, yep, I'm dead. Aether Vial is a hell of a drug. Okay, so Toxic Deluge definitely coming in, Engineered Plague comes in, Chains doesn't matter, Pithing Needle comes in. Pretty sure I want Eliminate. Though Eliminate and Collective Brutality are pretty close in the to the same card in this matchup. Surgical doesn't matter. Bridge is very good. Waste Not, they're going to get Hellbent pretty quick, so I'm not going to mess with that. Got to cut 2 more cards. Smallpox is good. Anything that kills a creature is good. I'm actually going to shave a Thoughtseize because it's a pretty bad top deck. And I'm going to, like I said, they're going to be Hellbent most of the time. And need all my win cons. Yeah, Raven's Crime is the next worst card here. Brutality being a removal spell also, I think that might be better than this Raven's Crime too. Alright, this is what I'm doing. Liliana the Last Hope is an all-star in this matchup. This is a pretty solid hand. Needs another black source, but what else is new? Thalia, Flicker Wisp, Swords to Plowshare, Aether Vial. So this is kind of close because Vial is a huge beating, but Thalia is also a problem, but I have Collective Brutality for Thalia. Yeah, I'm taking Aether Vial. Alright, done. Just got to count on drawing another land in my next 2 draw steps. Like, catching the Thalia under a Smallpox would be huge. Oh, drawing the Swamp was great, because now I get to Wasteland their Caracas. And play Shrieking Affliction. Yeah, that slows them down a lot. That's definitely worth doing. I don't know why they would lead on Caracas and not Basic Plains. Alright, I can get my Curse Scroll into play. Alright, now I really need to draw a land. If I can catch this Thalia sleeping, with Smallpox before they untap with Rashadenport up, I'm in good shape. Oh, Aether Vial, okay. They're taking it slow. Another Brutality. So yeah, I'm going to Brutality them. I know they have Swords of Plowshares in their hand. Just want to start getting them Hellbent. This gives refreshes my information also. Yeah, missing these land drops is real bad for me. So let's see if they just start locking me down with Port, or if they start casting stuff. Yeah, Recruiter of the Guard. Now, Smallpox doesn't even get Thalia. Yeah, them finding this Aether Vial was life and death. It's a huge problem. I could play another Affliction. Yeah, I need to get my hand empty too. This sucks. We were doing pretty well at first, and then it just fell apart. I took an Aether Vial, they drew one the next turn. Like, if they had to actually tap their mana to develop their board, then I could be meaningfully taking steps around what they're doing, but the Aether Vial is just going to shut me down. And now they can port me twice. This is fucked. Huh. Alright. That's viable, though I think that porting me twice would have made a lot of sense. Alright, let's draw land. Liquor Wisp Thalia. Land. Ugh. So I'm just dead to these Rashaden ports. Yep. Already dead. There's no way out of this. They finding that Aether Vial so they could port me while keeping their board up. Missing land drops. I've been choked on mana basically every game so far, like every game of both matches. So I think this deck needs another land or two. Like, Delver decks play 19 lands, and they have Ponder and Brainstorm. We're just drawing off the top. So I would want another land or two in this deck if I played it again. All right, I'm on the play. I've learned my lesson. I'm not keeping this one lander. All right, let's try keeping a 3-lander this time. And I'm not going to Raven's Crime right away. I'm going to keep his hand, send a swamp to the bottom. Just go Swamp Pass. Like, Raven's Crime doesn't even do anything right now. I want to get this Waste Not in play, and maybe we can set up some sort of engine. Uh-oh, Gemstone Mine. Playing against Merit Lage or Dredge. Shit. There goes my Waste Not. So what does this deck do against Merit Lage? It plays Wasteland. And that's about it. Oh, I guess, we have a bunch of Ensnaring Bridges. Never mind. And Liliana's Edicts. Okay. I've changed my tune very quickly. Yep, pretty obvious take there. Let's draw the other one. I play 2. Him to Trock. Curse Scroll. Okay. I will crime you. Show me your crimes. Okay, so I wanted to get the Curse Scroll out of my hand because that's actually a card that might have text in this matchup eventually. Eliminate doesn't do anything. Him to Trock. Ooh, Liliana counts. So Liliana will pressure their hand. and it'll make it so they have to end step Merit Lage when they make her, which means that Wasteland is more open. Imagine this hand if I had Waste Not. Wow, that would be so much better. But instead, here I am doing nothing. So one of the coolest Magic stories I've ever heard, Patrick Sullivan, back in the day, back when this card was in Standard, he would name Boyle against blue decks, even though he wasn't playing Boyle, just so they would think that he has Boyle in his hand. All right, so Vampire Hexmage can kill Liliana. That was a pretty fun draw. So I can kill the Hexmage. It'll probably sack itself to kill Liliana in response. Then I'll play the other one. Or not. They clearly don't know how that works. That taking all the plane counters off of Planeswalker kills it. So it, unfortunately for me, it works out exactly the same. Which is no Hexmage in play and a second Liliana coming. Keep this one. Discard a card. So I have to draw a Wasteland or Ensnaring Bridge this turn. Like if they just make Dark Depths, I lose. There it is. Wasteland off the top. Wasteland off the top. Shit. Yep, I'm dead. Okay. That started out pretty good and then fell off quickly. Okay. What do I want here? Pithing Needle. For sure. Surgical Extractions I think I do want here, because if I can Hymn to Tarok or Wasteland one of the combo pieces and extract them, that's actually pretty good. Bitter Blossom can buy a lot of time against a Merit Lage. It makes them find Sajiri Step, basically. Toxic Deluge. I'm not going to have 20 life to spend. That's not happening. Okay, so Eliminate is out. That card's not good. Collective Brutality is fine. Smallpox is pretty good because it pressures lands. I don't think I need Thoughtseize in my deck. Curse Scroll also is very bad. I guess if I exile part of their combo, then the Curse Scroll gets a lot better, because then they have to kill me with Vampire Hexmage and Elvish Spirit Guide, and I can pick those off. Liliana the Last Hope, not great here. I do want all of my Edict effects. Brutality. Brutality can gain 2 life, which gives me a turn against Merit Lage, but I don't think that's a reason to board an extra one in. But I'll leave in the ones that I have. Alright, so I'll bring in these things. Is anything else missing or obviously bad? Nope. Oh shit, Sinkhole should be in. I missed the Sinkhole. It's too late now. I've already clicked. Magic Online is loading it. I should definitely have Sinkhole in my deck. I'll bring it in for game 3. Oh my god, a capable hand. Let's keep it. So if they have a discard spell, it's going to take Bitter Blossom right away. I'm going to get the Rack into play, not play Raven's Crime. Like, criming a 7-card hand basically doesn't do anything. Ooh, it's a 5-card hand. So, but if they strip my hand with a discard spell, taking Raven's Crime is a lot worse than taking the Rack. So I want the Rack in play. Though I'm pretty sure they'll take Bitter Blossom if they have a discard spell. I guess it depends on how well they can come back from a smallpox. And the answer might be not well at all. We'll find out soon. Alright, are you more worried about Smallpox or Bitter Blossom? Find out now. I guess Raven's Crime when you have 2 cards in hand is also a beating. These are actually both bad. Like, if they kept Hexmage, Dark Depths, Urborg, Smallpox wrecks that line, and Bitter Blossom blocks forever. Alright, yeah, so I'm just going to crime them this turn. Alright, let's see what they've got to follow up. I don't want to crime them again, especially now that I drew Liliana. Okay, so that's not Dark Depths. Not even a little bit. Alright, I'm going to play the Liliana and plus discarding Surgical Extraction. Yeah, I still think Smallpox is going to be worth more than Surgical over a long game here. Alright, they lost a crop rotation, that's good. So my plan next turn, even if they don't make a creature, is probably to just play Smallpox. Alright, so Thoughtseize can strip that. Alright, is it Hexmage? Alright, so I can minus Liliana. Okay, no. They figured it out. So I need a Wasteland or Ensnaring Bridge or something right now. Uh-oh. Back in trouble. It sucks that they figured out how to kill Liliana with Hexmage. Come on, card that kills Marilage. Ugh. And I'm dead. Because of Urborg, Dark Depths can tap for the mana to copy, and we are just dead. Okay. So this is kind of the same thing that was happening in my last Pox League, which was my opponent's powerful proactive things in Legacy were better than my discard spell and then hope they don't do anything proactive after I discard them. So I just think that Legacy is in a place where like Pox and Rack sort of decks are not well positioned. On to the next one. Right, I'm on the draw, and this hands is a quick mulligan. I'll keep this one. I'm going to send Ensnaring Bridge to the bottom, because that's the most polarized card here. Like, there are matchups where it doesn't have any text at all. Plus, I've had mana problems in basically every round, so I'm not going to send a land to the bottom, basically under any circumstances. Might finally get to use Waste Not. Though, this hand has a ton of problems of its own. So my opponent says they're 0-3. I'm also 0-3. Surprise. They mulled a 5, which is good if they're a fair deck and terrible if they're a combo deck. Because I don't have a Thoughtseize. Yeah, like this hand, like I was saying, it has problems. Like without Waste Not, it gets pretty bad. I have to curve like Waste Not into Liliana for this to be any good. And I need to find another black source along the way. I could also just waste them. Yeah, they mulled a 5. I'm going to try to make this a non-game. If you mulled a 5 and then just hang your Underground Sea out in front of me, I'm going to waste it. Alright, cool. Rewarded. Even found the black source. So now the choice is, do I Brutality them on turn 2, or do I Waste Not? And I think I Brutality. Or I could Waste Not now and then Inquisition and Brutality them next turn and just go off. I'm going to try for that. And slow my roll on Liliana. Okay, Force of Will. Build your own Hymn to Turok. I guess if I Brutality this turn and then Waste Not plus Inquisition next turn, that's mostly the same thing. Let me check on their Force of Wills. See if they've got another one before I jam Liliana. Oh, now I'm embarrassed for firing off Surgical Extraction. Now that I know they're a graveyard combo deck. Come on. Alright. So Force of Will. Let's get a quick screenshot of this deck, figure out what they're up to. This is straight up 10 fins. So let's get rid of the forces at least. Do I want to get rid of the forces in their deck? Because it's a pretty bad draw right now. And I don't want them to hit anything good. So if I'm actually going to leave them with all their Force of Wills. No, I guess, yeah, I feel like it's probably right to leave them in there, but I'm not doing it. So I can Inquisition and Brutality, they're two enablers away. Like I can take the Entomb and the Shallow Grave. So take Entomb and then take Shallow Grave. Then next turn I can start Liliana-ing them. Alright, so I can do powerful things against an opponent who did not play the game at all. Though I still haven't won. Like, this Liliana, they could discard Grizzlebrand, and then I could lose next turn somehow. Like if they drew a one of their monsters. Maybe we'll actually see Curse Scroll get activated. Okay, Ponder. So I'll have to check my screenshot. Do they play an Echo of Aeons? Discard the Innocent Blood. Ritual. Waste you. Curse Scroll. Okay, now if I can find a land, I can start killing them. All right, they're conceding. I guess they can't come back from that. But all right, this I'm not sure if this is a good or bad matchup, honestly. I do have 4 Surgicals, 2 in the main, plus these 2 Ley Lines. Those are coming in. Bring in Chains, that messes up their combo real bad. And Pithing Needle on Grizzlebrand hurts their combo as well. So I'm going to bring in these 8 cards. Eliminates are coming out. And Innocent Blood is coming out. Let's see. Brutality is an option to bring in. Smallpox should come out. That's going to hurt me more than it hurts them. Brutality can come in that slot. Waste Not's kind of slow for a matchup like this, but I'm here for it. Okay. This is my deck. Alright, so do you keep this against Tin Fins, double Surgical Extraction, and Chains of Mephistopheles? Yes, you do. Let's hope they don't Cabal Therapy Surgical Extraction on turn 1, which is a perfectly reasonable play against Mono Black. Okay, I'll take blue mana. So I'm going to Needle Grizzlebrand right away. And then I can play Chains on the next turn. And then we'll find out if they have like some Monastery Mentor sideboard plan that I can't beat. So Grizzle. All right, so if they Cabal Therapy me, I'll extract Ponder in response to just make it look like I fired off my Surgical, and maybe they won't name the second one. This deck feels okay when you have a shitload of lands, when you actually hit 3 lands and they're all black. Right, Thoughtseize I'm not going to Surgical in response to. So they'll probably strip my Chains and then set up a Cabal Therapy for these extractions in the future. What's up, Him to Turok? That was a great draw. Give me some targets for Surgical extraction. Oh, bummer. Daze is a card you play? Get out of here. I did just look at your deck list. No excuse. So I think in their draw step... No, so forget it. I was going to say in their draw step I'll extract Ponder, but like if they have Cabal Therapy, I'm going to wish I did that, but if they have Thoughtseize, I'm going to feel really dumb about that. Alright, time to go in. Just need another discard spell now. Are you afflicted by my shrieking? Yeah, so we're running into another problem with the discard decks is that their win conditions are reliant on you having discarded their hand, which I have not done. God, are you a Doomsday deck now? You are a Doomsday deck now. That wasn't there in game 1. Okay. I guess I can extract some stuff. Let's see. I could extract the Daze. I could at least see what they're doing, which could give me some information. Yeah, I'm going to extract Daze in response. I just want to see what's going on. So now you're Doomsday. This deck did not look like this in game 1. This is some bullshit. I'm definitely gonna lose, but the hand is Force, Echoing Truth, my god. Alright. Okay. This is fun. Alright. Doomsday resolves. And it's going to be pretty hard to beat this. Well, they are going to go to 8. And then if I extract Doomsday, that'll force a shuffle on their deck, so they won't necessarily know what's going on. And if they Force of Will, they take 5 in their upkeep. If I draw a Rack or Shrieking Affliction, I might be able to trick them into dying. Guess we'll see. Alright, so you're at 8. Come on, Rack or Shrieking Affliction. Him to Turok. Okay. Guess I'll start with that. So if they discard a... They should force this, I think. They should force Pitching Force. Then they'll go to... So if this resolves, it's guaranteed to hit a Force. And then Okay, perfect. So now I can extract this Force of Will, and that'll make them Hellbent. Get rid of this, and it'll shuffle their deck, but every card in their deck is a draw spell, so it doesn't matter. Unless they draw... So if they draw Thassa's Oracle this turn, I actually win. Because they're going to take 6 in their upkeep, and they have a 20% chance to just lose the game to their draw step, and an 80% chance to win the game. Is it the Oracle? Show me the Oracle. Oh, no. I guess... Oh, no, maybe this doesn't work as well as I think. Yeah, it does. Because this Brainstorm's guaranteed to find... I don't know. I'm not smart enough to do Doomsday math on the fly. But so they have 2 mana left. If they find... Is there any way this doesn't work? If Oracle is their bottom card, maybe it doesn't work? Yeah, they needed to find Oracle and one of the free cyclers. So if Oracle is the bottom card... Oh, wow, I actually win. So Oracle must have been on the bottom because they cycle. Oh, because they can't Spirit Wraith because they're at 2. I didn't even consider that angle. That was awesome. So the racks put them to 2, which turned off Street Wraith, so they can't cycle that. So that's one less live hit in the deck. That was crazy. So the math was slightly better for me than I thought. I was still unfavored, heavily unfavored in that spot, but we snuck away with one. On the board. All right, we're on the draw in the final round. This hand is a keeper. I can rack, him, rack. So let's just hope they're a deck that is susceptible to him to Turok. Wooded Foothills, huh? Are you an elf deck or a rug delver deck? Are you a burn deck? Wow, burn decks are very susceptible to him to Turok. Revealing Thoughtseize. I think this is actually the right play. Like, if they kept Eidolon of the Great Revel, that's something I want out of their hand. Yep, there it is. That is well worth the 2 life. So they're gonna suspend Riftbolt. I'll him to Turok their hand to nothing, then deploy several racks on the following turn. Surgical Extraction. I'm unlikely to cast that card this game. I guess, depending on what they do, it might just be better to cast 2 racks now. No, let's just get them Hellbent. If this hits even 1 burn spell, it's worth it. Alright, just hits 2 lands. I am not going to pay life to extract Eidolon of the Great Revel. This might end up being a play draw game that I lose because I was on the draw. Uh-oh, they paid mana, then changed their mind. What's going on over there? Please don't top deck Eidolon. Great! 3 out of 51 cards in their deck. And now I'm gonna lose. Yep, they would have been on a 2-turn clock to my racks. Like, I had the surgical, but I don't think that's the right play. That was stupid. Okay. Now what? Collective Brutality, basically best card. Eliminate him to Turok, Raven's Crime, all good. I don't think I want Thoughtseize in the deck. Eliminate is pretty good. Surgical is very bad. So what's better than Surgical? It's got to be something. I could Pithing Needle, Grim Lavamancer. Wow, I just don't even have cards to bring in. I could Sinkhole. Maybe Toxic Deluge, I guess. Like, I don't want to pay 2 life, but if it kills 2 Goblin Guides, it might be worth it. Okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. That was obnoxious. There might be some math to be done, like the 2 life versus the potential impact of them drawing Eidolon, because obviously it was devastating. The game just ended, but I probably could have done math to figure out, like, what are their nut draws outside of Eidolon. Alright, fuck you, Goblin Guide. And so they have Wear Tear and Lightning Bolt and 4 lands in their hand. As they adopted the Never Mulligan against Pox strategy here. Alright, do you have another Goblin Guide? Alright, I hope I draw a card off it, because I am ready with the Smallpox this time. Discard Wasteland, that's an easy one. Just obliterate your business. Discard a Wood Foothills. Sacrifice a swamp, you lose your mountain. I'm not sure who this favors long term, but that felt pretty good. This 4-land hand might pay off for them. Raven's Crime. Probably going to lose that Bloodstained Mire. And if they do, that might take off their white. Oh, they chuck the Wear Tear. That's perfect, because I'm finally ready to cast a wearable card. So now they're in the position where they have to put spells onto the stack to win the game. But if they do that, that's less cards in their hand. I have Raven's Crime. I'm actually ready for an Eidolon this time. Alright, they're committed to burning me out, just firing off Lightning Bolt like that in the face of Shrieking Affliction. Guess they'll end up discarding it eventually anyway. So they play Roiling Vortex. Oh man, I was meant to get. Okay. Hell yeah. Shrieking Affliction, Raven's Crime. They're going to have a hard time racing this. Alright, so they take 7 in their next 2 upkeeps. I have a removal spell. If they have an Eidolon or whatever. But if they play the Eidolon, then that's just committing to being further racked. So they're going to bleed out to their Vortex if they don't cast spells, and they die to my Shrieking Affliction if they do cast spells, and if I draw a discard spell of any kind, or a land for Raven's Crime, they lose anyway. That card's not very good. So they are now approaching a point where they could kill me in a flurry of burn spells. Like if their hand is exactly Bolt, Bolt, Fire Blast, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus the... Oh, but they die to their own Fire Blast from Roiling Vortex. Yeah, so they can't Fire Blast me. That's good news. Finally having a target for this Eliminate. Plus they're just dead if I draw a land. Innocent Blood, probably better than Eliminate. Because Eliminate can deal with a haste creature later. Yeah, let's just do this. Yeah, so I think they're kind of locked out to their own Vortex. Because whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, they take 5. Yeah, so they can't Fire Blast because of their own Vortex. That's quite a combo. Alright, that was okay. Nothing changes about my sideboard plan here. Same deck right back in. Is Sinkhole better than like something like Waste Not? Does Waste Not have a gain life clause? No, it's mana, cards, or zombies. Yeah, I don't think any of this changes anything. Like, I don't think I want Sinkhole more than I want any of these other cards. It might be better than Toxic Deluge. Change my mind. Sinkhole's in, Deluge is out. Deluge is just a 3 mana card that hurts me. I feel like a game where Deluge would be playable. Things have already gone horribly wrong. But if your opponent can't cast spells, they can't win the game. I think they're boarding out all their Roiling Vortexes right now. That card was not impressive. Being on the draw is rough. That is mostly why I lost game 1. Also because my opponent drew Eidolon of the Grey Rebel right on time. This is a mulligan, of course. This is the same hand. It's not getting much better, but I'll keep this. I'm going to send Shrieking Affliction to the bottom because it is worse than the rack. Wasteland barely has any text, but like the rack versus Ensnaring Bridge is kind of tough. I'm actually going to bottom the bridge because the rack is the only way I can win this game. Like I have removal and discard. All right. Do you have Goblin Guide on turn 1 again? If I was guaranteed Goblin Guide in every opening hand, I would play Burn most of the time in most formats. All right, Innocent Blood was a great draw. All right, turning Goblin Guide into a shock that draws me a card versus a Fire Blast or more is a deal I'll take. All right, I can eliminate that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to him first. I'll wait till combat to eliminate it because if they have a haste creature like a Swift Spear or Goblin Guide, they want to cast it before, and then they have to take 2. Ooh, a Wasteland target. Feed it to me. Put it in my veins. Let's hope they don't have Boros Charm to give this indestructible. That's the way that this could go wrong. Okay. Eidolon ended up dealing 2 damage, which is below rate in Legacy, but they had another one, so it didn't matter. Let's see. Do they have the Rift Bolt? What are you doing with this last mana? So my plan is to him to Turok and play the rack, take my 4 damage, and just hope that I can race somehow, unless I draw a removal spell. Then I'll cast that. They're thinking really hard about what they want to do with this last mana. Right, they're suspending Rift Bolt. Okay. So if their last card in hand is Fire Blast, I can basically never win. That's so close to being a card that I want. Alright, well, let's get them Hellbent. If they Fire Blast min response, I'm fucked. Alright, that didn't happen. Okay, so they're going to take 3 in their draw step, plus these 2 from their Eidolon. We're just in a straight up race at this point, and I am unfavored in the race. Another Hymn to Turok. I don't think that casting Waste Not will be helpful to me at any point in this game. I'm going to try to get 2 spells off my Hymn to Turok. So I could easily die to a Flurry of Burn. Yeah, I just am not going to be able to win this game. It came down to having 2 Eidolons. Like, that's how they won game 1. It's how they're going to win game 3. Just 2 Eidolons versus not 2 Eidolons. That is kind of close to being a card that I care about. Unfortunately, it's a little too slow. Yeah, I'm just dead on board. And dead to burn. Okay, so thoughts about this deck include it needs another land, at least one more land. Waste Not is kind of bad because if you play it before your discard spells, then you're not playing your discard spells, which is the whole point of your deck. And if you draw it after your discard spells, it doesn't do anything. So I think I would turn the Waste Knots just into swamps. Maybe another Urborg in a swamp for starters. So I'm going to make these changes as I'm talking. So another swamp comes in and Urborg. Because Urborg being able to turn your wastelands into swamps could save a lot of help. So these 2 Waste Knots are gone. They were not good. Out of the sideboard, and I don't really know what else we can do with the sideboard. That depends on your metagame, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. But missing land drops was devastating in... we just played, what, like somewhere between 10 and 13 games of Magic, and we were struggling to hit a land drop in probably 7 of them. So that was pretty bad. The big problem, though, like we saw, Legacy is just too powerful for this kind of strategy right now. I said it last week with my Lone Pox. I'll say it again now with this mono black version. Even discounting Veil of Summer, we didn't play against a single Veil of Summer, which is a huge blowout all the time. But like today against my opponents, I made them Hellbent, and then they top deck Eidolon of the Great Revel, and I lose. I make them Hellbent, but then they make Merit Lage and play, and I lose. I didn't play against an Oko either, but like I make you Hellbent, you top deck Oko, and I lose. So there's just too many good top decks in Legacy right now for a discard-based deck to be very good. And I'm sorry to share that information with the diehard Pox fans out there, but I think the deck is just very poorly positioned. I don't know how you could build it to be better. Like, to be able to beat Oko and still be like the discard deck you want to be, it's tough. So thank you for the deck submission, Dravux. I hope it serves you better than it serves me. I did my best to improve it. I think 2 lands would go a long way. And everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.